All new here at 10, Human Trafficking Awareness Month ends tonight. And in a 12 News exclusive, we're hearing from Rhonda Kirkendall, a human trafficking survivor. Rhonda was approached at the age of 10 when her trafficker promised her a bustling modeling career. And like many victims, she would end up enduring years of abuse. Tonight, DPS tells us 28 million victims have been identified across the world. And closer to home, I-10 has become a popular route for transporting these victims. Tonight, 12 News reporter Ebony Coleman joins us live in Beaumont. And Ebony, you spoke with Rhonda about her experience and how she's moving forward now.
That's right, Brenda. Many victims share a story similar to Rhonda's. In fact, DPS tells me they rescued more than 20 juveniles last year alone in Southeast Texas. But sadly, being a victim of human trafficking is a lifelong sentence.
You hear people say things like, "We'll get over it." There is no getting over being a victim of this kind of crime.
Rhonda Kirkendall is a human trafficking survivor. After suffering years of abuse in her childhood home, things only got worse when she met Mark Turner.
I met him at an apartment complex, and he came up to me and asked me if I wanted to be a model. And I was 10 years old.
She says Turner began trafficking her, first in Fort Bend County, then Houston, and eventually Lubbock.
A child cannot consent to have sex. And it would take me years before I could actually speak out against this.
Her predator was eventually caught.
He's been convicted in Texas, Kansas, California, back in Texas. I still deal with my trafficker. As early as May, I traveled to El Paso for a parole revocation hearing. And after 40 years, I sat in front of him.
Lieutenant Craig Cummings with DPS says human trafficking is the second most profitable crime in the world. And it's not uncommon for children to become targets, especially with the rise of social media.
That victim thinks they've got a friend in here, and that is a sheep in wolf's clothing.
During my personal story, that trafficker had to come into physical contact with me to meet me. Today, that is not the case.
DPS has managed to rescue 600 children from traffickers.
Our interdiction for the protection of children has trained over 13,000 people.
Back in Houston, Kirkendall is working on getting her master's degree in social work, and she spends time in Austin advocating for young victims.
You can heal, you can become stronger.
Lieutenant Cummings says the best advice he can give to parents is to keep communication open with your kids. And if you see something suspicious, you can report it along with pictures at the DPS iWatch Texas app. Live in Beaumont, Ebony Coleman, 12 News.